Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ken's Show and Tell. Today we are going to be shooting a rare MAS45 Obendorf French production 22 long rifle training rifle made in 1945. All numbers matching, manufactured by Germans laboring under French direction in late 1945. It is composed almost entirely of KKW intended components, which were transported to the French Saint-Étienne, if I'm saying that right, arsenal for final assembly and issue. The rifle has standard features, including the MAS45A designation and Mauser Bannered logo, which only occurs on the early rifles. So you have the FAB MAS, which means manufactured by, and you have the Model 45A, and you have the Mauser Banner. Later ones made in after 1946 just had a MAS banner here, no Mauser markings whatsoever. The stock is totally French made from Beech. All the furniture is correct, with original finish, with the rare MAS hard plastic marked, or the butt plate. I've attached a Mauser K98 hood on the front sight, as the original hood was missing. The original front sight I still have, but I took it off because it was shooting too high. So I manufactured a sight here myself in my little shop and put it here. The rest of the finish is original Parkerized Ghost Gray. The Ghost Gray is a zinc phosphate finish. This rifle is in 22 long rifle and caliber. You can see that the numbers are matching on the bolt and the receiver. The rear sight is adjustable by elevation, by sliding this forward and backwards, and it's also adjustable by windage with a screw here and a screw over here. So if you want to move it to the right or to the left, if you went to the left, you screw this, you have to unloosen this and screw this in at the same time, and it moves it. Always keep it tight. It has a standard Mauser type safety feature here, and the typical Mauser bolt removal mechanism here. Overall, this rifle is graded as excellent, and the bore is as good to match, and this rifle shoots really well, which we'll be demonstrating out to 160 yards. The history of this rifle is that the French First Army captured Obendorf, this Obendorf factory, which is in the suburbs of Berlin, in April of 1945. An inventory of the Mauser factory was taken, and the remaining German workers were also captured, which of course they happily surrendered to the Allies, to the French in particular, because they certainly didn't want to surrender to the Russians. While doing inventory, they discovered lots of leftover parts from rifle production, and the French always admired the Mauser KKW training rifle. So this rifle was put together by leftover German workers at the Mauser plant. In 1946, well after this rifle was produced, the Russians took objection to the French using this German machinery and German parts and German labor to make rifles. Under pressure by the Allies, the French moved the factory into France itself and started producing just MAS labeled rifles. So this is a very early production and the most desirable of the MAS45 variations. Now that the introduction is over, let's put this little baby to the test. We're going to start off at the 75-yard targets this time. I'm going to go ahead and fill up this magazine. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. All right, we'll start on the left, work our way over the right. 75 yards. Next one. And the red one. Yeah, I got it. And then that triangular shape deal beside that yellow wheel is a support arm to an old hydraulic jack. It makes the most pleasant sound when hit by a 22. Now the next one is very difficult to see and hit. It's a solid screw, a big plumbing type screw. Oh, by the way, we're just using Remington 22 Thunderbolt ammunition. Not expensive, nothing fancy. Now that yellow piece of iron next to that black screw, that big griddle. Now, let's move on out to 100 yards. We're going to start with that black gong to the right, 8-inch gong. And we'll move to the 6-inch gong to the left. Let's put a couple in that yellow frying pan. That makes a nice sound when you can hit it. There we go. Number 1. Number 2. Things moving. And looking at those targets down there, I can see I need to change my point of aim. I've been aiming a little too low, doing a true 6 o'clock hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the post up in the sights here, because this is a peep and a post up front, towards the center of the target. And we're going to focus on those two gongs, 8-inch and a 6-inch gong. Let's just see. Let's do another one in that 8-inch gong. They are sounding a little bit more solid. Let's do another one in that same 8-inch gong. All right. Same thing works on the one right next to it, which is a 6-inch gong. And with the different color targets, they take on their visibility changes. Right now it's not that great. This old MAS made by captured Germans is doing a trick. Let's put another one in that same gong. Okay. Let's move on to a more lyrical target at 100 yards. Black one to the right. All right. Black one to the right. That red target to the left is an aluminum valve cover off of an engine. See, it's a nice lyrical. Do that same one, it's moving. Okay, now let's move on out to 160. That's kind of fun. 10 inches, 10 inches. This is about 14, that's about 21 inches. This is life size at 100 yards. We're going to be shooting at 160. And I'm going to put my post about right up here. And let's see where this thing hits. And then if I try on these, I'll be putting a post kind of right up here too, because I think if I put the post here, the shots will probably drop, hit right in there. So we'll see. We have moved out 160 yards, and we're going to start off with the torso. And since I'm using this rifle's kind of zeroed in at 100 yards, I'm going to have to use a lot of Kentucky windage, being a 22. I'm going to have to put the post right on top of the head. I'll move it up to the head and a little bit higher than squeeze. Okay. Try to do the same thing again. But this is another one at the torso, aiming above, just above the head by about an inch or so. Okay. Let's try that circle on the left, aiming just above it. Okay. My left to right alignment is good, even way out there, because I'm raising so high. I mean, this post completely obliterates that circle. Aiming at 12 o'clock and then a little above. It's kind of fun. Why they call it plinking, right? Let's do that again if we can. Oh, whoa. All right. Let's go see. Let's just go see where those things hit. I am surprised. You know, from down there with open sights, the estimation is that I was putting the top of the post right there. And that's 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3. Decent grouping at 160 yards. Didn't drop as far as I thought it was going to. And over here, my estimation, I was putting the post kind of right in here. Decent estimation. 1, 2, 3. Of course, the big difference between this target and this one, in terms of your sight, what you see in the sights, this one you can still see the target. This one you can't. It's completely blocked off by the post. Interesting. Well, I call it plinking for nothing. I doubt if you can see it through this particular camera lens way in the back. Looking at the shooting bench way back there. Let me just kind of drop down a little bit here. If you can see the golf cart way back there, that's where the shooting bench is. Ooh. 160 yards back, 160 yards up. So, hope you enjoyed watching this MAS45 in action. It's really a well-crafted rifle by the Germans under the direction of the French in 1945, just at the close of World War II. And I can see why the French valued this gun. This particular issued Model 45 is much rarer than the others, simply because it's very early production. So anyway, this is another demonstration that shooting with so-called primitive open sights can bring you good results. And shooting at 50 feet is certainly less rewarding than shooting at 75, 100, and 160 yards, at least in my opinion, with these sights. Thank you so much for watching Ken's Show and Tell.